Hi and welcome to the video. I'm Dame and this is Dame Over, and today I'm going to be answering the question so many of you want the answer to: is Modern Warfare 2 worth it? Now, I've put quite a few hours into it since release, as well as having played all the way through the campaign and a hell of a lot of the early access beta. So in this video I'm going to give you my overall thoughts so far, split up into sections on everything from gunplay to map design to game modes and everything else in between. I'll be doing my best to be objective about it, but I'll of course add in my own personal experiences and opinions as we go, and hopefully it helps you make up your mind as to whether you buy Modern Warfare 2 or not. Now for the quickest plug you ever did see. I stream 5 to 6 times a week here on YouTube with the occasional stream on Twitch, so if you want to catch me and the rest of my awesome community live, the best thing to do is to subscribe, turn on notifications, join the Discord, there's a link in the description for you to click on, and if you do decide to support by becoming a member, there are exclusive Dame Over emojis for you to use in the chat and anywhere else on YouTube, and also don't forget to hit the like button, it genuinely does help the channel out. So we'll start with our main focus being on the multiplayer aspects first, and I'm going to give each aspect a rating out of 5. So let's get things moving with section 1, gunplay, which gets a very healthy 3 out of 5. Now the gunplay is always a big deal when it comes to a first-person shooter, and I like the gunplay in Modern Warfare 2. It feels intuitive and it makes sense. You have to have decent recoil control to do well at anything that isn't close range, and headshots are massively rewarded. Now the feel of the different weapon types can also drastically change your style of play and your overall experience, and in Modern Warfare 2 I feel like they've done an okay job of making the difference between the weapons felt, and the standard, generally easiest way to play is to select the assault rifles or SMGs and hold down the trigger till you land a kill. Battle rifles or DMRs would normally need a bit more accuracy and timing, but it's hard to notice much of a difference really thanks to the very fast time to kill, which I'm going to refer to from now on as TTK. The big exception is quick scoping with a sniper rifle. It's now back and works very, very well, so if you can get that particular set of skills down, you'll be very successful. But overall, I'm not too impressed with the gunplay, as the majority of the guns essentially feel the same, but that isn't really to do with gun design or weapon balancing. The very fast TTK makes it almost impossible to tell how a weapon is performing when you're comparing it to others. ARs and SMGs essentially feel the same. Even with the battle rifles that are very, very different, you'll have way more success if you just spam the trigger rather than going for more accurate shots, thanks to only needing a few bullets to kill. The range you fight at doesn't really make much difference in how long it takes to drop your enemy, so long as you practice good recoil control. Essentially, if you put on the fastest firing weapon, you'll be way more likely to have more success. Now, don't think I've forgotten shotguns. It's a high risk, high reward strategy. In a straight up fight, if you don't shoot first and hit your shots, you die. That makes sense to me. But the TTK confuses things a little bit further when you learn that your sidearm can kill just as fast as your primary with only 2 or 3 shots from long range. And in my experience so far, it's very hard to tell a high skilled player from a low skilled player, as the gunfights are over faster than you can even think. But as you'll see later in this video, the TTK affects a whole host of other things that aren't just how the weapons perform. Now on to section 2, map design, which I'm going to give a hefty 4.5 out of 5. I really like the maps in Modern Warfare 2. Infinity Ward have done a really good job in creating maps that have good flow, good choke points, the possibility for different ranged gunfights, a decent amount of possible flanking routes, and overall catering to a player base that will inevitably have a huge variety of playstyles, including their choice of weaponry. Not only that, the maps also look great. Instead of having random boxes or, I don't know, shipping containers as apparent cover, the scenery makes sense within the world of the game. Now, I'm not just talking about the small team game modes, this goes for the large team modes as well. As with all good maps in previous CoD titles, there are vantage points and power positions to be had, but you have to watch your back and expect someone to rush you and try to end your streak at all times. I'm particularly happy with how they've treated the center of the maps, especially in the 6v6 game modes. The center is well protected from being watched from any one position, and it generally forces players into close quarters battles, which requires a completely different set of skills and possibly different weaponry. In domination and hardpoint, you definitely feel the risk when you're trying to capture the point, but they are placed well enough that you can't just be picked off from someone you can't see. I think, quite predictably, the spawns can be absolutely dire. Now, I'm not a game developer, I don't know how to design games, and I think at this point we can sort of give them the benefit of the doubt. It seems that good spawns are actually very hard to do, which can actually be massively frustrating. frustrating, as you can often spawn and die with no chance of returning fire. Again, another issue with the TTK. But overall, and I think this is a shared thought with lots of Modern Warfare 2 players, the maps are very good. Section 3, game modes, which also gets a very healthy 4.5 out of 5. There are a large number of game modes from the get-go in Modern Warfare 2, and the reason the score is so high for this particular section is that I think there's a game mode for almost everybody available to play. There are 9 different multiplayer modes to play on the smaller 6v6 size maps, with the addition of an extra 10th in Control in the private match section, 2 big team game modes, Ground War with 32 players aside, and Invasion that has 20 players aside on each team with the addition of NPC bots. There is the campaign, which I won't do a whole section on. It's pretty good. There's also the co-op game mode, which is being referred to as Spec Ops, where you can team up with other players to complete specially designed missions with particular goals and objectives. I mean, as you can see, there's a huge variety of gameplay available. There's the slower paced search and destroy and prisoner rescue. There's the classic TDM, domination, kill confirmed, and there's also free for all if you want to help increase your anxiety levels. Ground War's there if you want to experience big team battles with the added variable of vehicles and squad spawns. For any Battlefield veterans, this is probably where you'll feel most at home. An Invasion is a very large scale TDM, and there is a playlist where you can mix things up by playing with the third person view. There is literally something for everyone in Modern Warfare 2. But not only that, for maximum variety, go to the quick play option and select all of the different game modes, and you can get to sweat your way through each one in turn. Variety is the spice of life, and it looks like Modern Warfare 2 is a ghost pepper. Alright, section 4, weapon customization and progression system. Now this section lands itself a big old 4 out of 5, and there's quite a bit to talk about here. Now the weapon variety is pretty huge in Modern Warfare 2. There's a total of 51 weapons, with more to be added in the future, 41 of which are your primary. There's also a bunch of different tacticals and lethal grenades, field upgrades, and perks for you to unlock. The variety again is in abundance, which is a big tick from me. There is the possibility for a ton of different loadout options with the choice of varying attachments and perks, etc. The amount of combinations possible is absolutely huge. The progression system, as you'd probably expect in CoD, albeit quite a grind, is still very good, but in some respects it has a lot of new and very interesting tweaks. There's the classic leveling system of your overall rank and weapon leveling, and new to Modern Warfare 2, there is the weapon platform leveling system for each weapon that can be altered via the gunsmith. Now, this is more like a skill tree rather than increasing overall weapon rank, and it allows you access to other weapons within that particular subclass of that weapon. So, for example, to unlock the Loneman sub, you need to have the Loneman 7.62 at level 13 to then start progressing the Loneman 5.56 to level 12, at which point you'll unlock the sub. Now, the weapon platforms also allow you to unlock attachments to use universally within that weapon platform. So attachments that were specific to an SMG could now be used on its assault rifle counterpart. This opens up again a huge amount of possibilities for weapon builds and loadouts, but it doesn't end there. Another new addition to Modern Warfare 2 is weapon tuning. A weapon tuning is unlocked when you reach max level with a gunsmithable weapon. Weapon tuning is the end game basically for weapon customization, so it allows you to balance the attributes of any of the attachments just how you like it. So you use a radar graph, you can choose whether to favor faster ADS speed, recoil control, focus on more handling, etc. The attributes of attachments are no longer fixed, and you can drastically change them however you like. Now, that is a lot to get your head around in one go, which is why I think it's brilliant. Players are always going to be looking to improve their loadouts and to try and get the edge over the competition. And with weapon platforms and weapon tuning, it adds so many more layers to what you're able to do with your loadout. Something that's going to make multiplayer incredibly interesting. But what I'm particularly excited about is how it's going to change things within Warzone 2.0. It's innovation like this and how it's been implemented in Modern Warfare 2 is what I think will keep players playing this game for a really, really long time, especially after the initial hype dies down. The one bad thing about the progression system is just how much of a grind it is. You need a lot of experience points to level up, even after the first few levels, which can be quite frustrating. There are daily and career challenges with extra daily challenges in the co-op modes, with XP boosts, of course, for both your career level and weapon XP, but you'll still have to be in it for the long haul if you want to max out even a small portion of the weapons. Without the massively extensive weapon customization, I reckon this section would only really have got a 2.5 out of 5. Section 5, connection and server health, and this section gets a 4.5 out of 5, and this section's nice and quick. The servers seem to be acting as expected. During fights, there are rare moments where things don't seem to add up, but overall, the TTK and the TTD, so time to death, seem to match up well, but I've had a few instances of watching the kill cam back and being very confused when comparing it to what happened on my screen. But again, like I said, overall, it's working very well. Finally, section 6, gameplay loop. Now this, for me, gets a low scoring 2 out of 5. Now I think the bones of Modern Warfare 2 are very good. The very impressive map design, a great if quite long progression system, huge variety in game modes, and the game aesthetically looks very good. The one big problem that might be a turnoff for lots of players is the time to kill. I know it's slower than Modern Warfare 2019, which frankly boggles my mind. How could it be faster? But the TTK is just so fast, I feel it negates so many of the great aspects of the game design. I mentioned earlier how it's hard to tell good players from bad players because of the TTK, and that's because it only requires a couple of bullets to get a kill. There's no need to really aim very accurately when you can spray at a target from almost any range, and as long as you aren't wildly inaccurate, chances are you'll get the kill. The very fast kill time also means there's almost impossible to feel a difference between any of the guns, which sort of begs the question as to why so much work was put into the progression, weapon platforms, tuning, etc. The differences seem to be so small. If you do change attachments, it makes them almost pointless. Look, I know there'll be loads of people that really enjoy the TTK as it is, and Infinity Ward has said that they're not addressing it and they are not going to change it in the future, but for me it just creates an extremely frustrating gameplay loop. If you have an unlucky spawn, you can die almost straight away. You can peek a corner and get dropped way before any human being is even able to react. Jumping also slightly breaks the hitbox, so even if you are taking a defensive position and pre-aiming and shoot first, if someone jumps through a doorway while rushing you, you'll die before you can even get a shot off. You can easily get beamed from range by an SMG, which kind of makes the use of battle rifles pretty pointless. The minimap design negates the use of a suppressor, as you don't appear on the minimap anyway if you're not using one. So the game simply becomes which team can get a UAV first. This easily creates a snowball effect of constant UAVs and kill streaks for one team, and unless you're really lucky or absolutely cracked, absolutely nothing for the other. All of this together creates a slow and very passive play style for lots of players. Pre-aiming corners and walking slowly happens very, very often, with players being very wary of moving anywhere because they know how quickly that particular life could be over if they push a position or even follow the sound of fighting. I very quickly became frustrated with playing 6v6 game modes, so I hopped on to Ground War, which allows for a bit more player agency, but unfortunately the meta then becomes sniping from the top of a building. This is before I even mention skill-based matchmaking, which can frankly do one. It doesn't belong in a casual game or in a casual playlist. If you want to implement SBMM, then put it in a ranked playlist and leave it there. Random teams is always the best way to go, and it's the most fun for most people. Look, I know I have a long way to go with my personal skill at Modern Warfare 2 to become a solid COD player, but my experience of first-person shooters has never felt so punishing with so seemingly little effort from the enemy players. So to close things out and to answer that question you all had when you clicked on this video, is Modern Warfare 2 worth it? Well, if you've enjoyed previous COD titles, then there are a lot of things that have been improved, and I think you'll have a very good time. So for you, yes, it is. If you're a casual player and you aren't so fussed about your performance and just like the experience of playing a game, then this, in my opinion, is the most polished AAA FPS out there. So currently, yes, it is worth it for you. If, like me, you plan on playing Warzone 2 and dedicating a lot of your time to it, then simply for the easier and faster weapon progression, and if you have a little bit of spare cash lying around, yes, Modern Warfare 2 is worth it for you. If you're a player that has totally cracked aim, godlike movement skills, and you love to use a sniper rifle, then yes, you will like Modern Warfare 2. But if you're a player that cares about getting better at the game, if you like aiming for the high skill ceiling, if you like to outplay your opponents with your individual skill, but you don't want to only use a sniper rifle and quick scope, then I think you'll really struggle to have a good time on Modern Warfare 2. The skill level is very muddied thanks to the TTK, and unless you want to sweat your life away and just hope you don't get killed from a random spot at any moment, I don't think Modern Warfare 2 is for you. So I hope that answers your question, guys. If you have any thoughts about Modern Warfare 2, your experiences so far, make sure you let me know what they are in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button, sub if you're new to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you next time with some more Modern Warfare 2 content or on the live streams. That's game over. Peace.